Starting to realize that being alone is a necessity on semen retention. I'm 70 days in, and anytime that I kind of get a little bit off track, or, I kind of go off my diet a little bit, or this or that, it's because I'm surrounding myself with, people that don't align with my goals right now. And that doesn't mean these are bad people who don't care about me, who don't love me, but I have certain goals in mind for myself right now. And with certain people, I can't be disrespectful and just, be mean to them and just be a dickhead for no fucking reason, you know? If somebody makes me some food for my birthday and they made it out of love and they surprise me with it and do all that, man, I'm gonna eat it, I'm just gonna make sure that I go harder in the gym and just do all that shit. But being around environments like this and people who don't, have the same mindset and mentality that I have right now, it's not draining necessarily, but it doesn't help. It kind of draws me back into this old version of myself that I'm trying not to be anymore. I'm trying really hard not to be anymore, and it draws me back to it. You know, in scenarios like this, I still play pretend, you know, pretend that I'm still that sort of person and joke around like I'm still that sort of person and play dumb. I play the dumb role, and, I kind of just zone out in certain aspects, and I'm in my mind and just thinking about, the progress I could be making right now and all this stuff. But at the same time, I have to realize that it's super important to live in the moments like those, right? And appreciate those times, because I really do. When I'm surrounded by the people I love and care about, when I'm surrounded by my family, it's a good feeling. Like, that's really what life is about. I love it. But I can't get like too deep into that. I gotta make sure that I'm still, on track, and I don't get into this old mindset of who I was. Just because, like, that's their perception of me. And then I start to kind of feel that way again. And then in my mind is trying to trick me and get me back into some sort of old habits, because, especially because I guess slipped on my diet. I had fucking my birthday cake and I slipped on my diet. I'm not too proud of it, but at the same time, like I said, like, if somebody surprises me with some sort of food or something out of love and care, you know, I'm not gonna be a fucking asshole and be like, yeah, I'm not eating that. Unless I directly told them, like, yo, I'm sticking to my diet, I'm not eating that bullshit. No, fuck that, man. So, it's all good though. I just gotta reframe my mind and remember the journey that I'm on. And get right back to it, get right back into it. I worked out right after I was having a birthday dinner with my family, and the workout fucking sucked afterwards. You know, I was distracted by all the women in the gym, and just, it was cold in there. Just everything started feeling really like hard, like things were retracting in a way, is what it felt like. But I have to just remind myself that those are the best times to just keep on pushing. Those are the times that you need to keep on pushing, or else you're going to go back in the cycle, in the loop of misery that you're trying to leave in the past. Because I know the path that I'm on, and I keep saying it. And anytime I slip, I have to remind myself, you know, the journey that I'm on and how far I've gotten thus far and how much further I could get, you know. I just need a couple more days to reset my frame of mind. You know, my birthday festivities are finally fucking over. Thank God. You know, there's no other birthday activities or any bullshit like that coming up. So now just full on, just primordially, just fucking locked in. I'm back locked in for the next, entire month. And then I have a fucking week vacation, which is great, phenomenal. That, like, it's tough, man. It's really tough. Because, like, how do I say this without sounding like a fucking asshole? Like, I need to be alone right now. I need to just be in my own fucking world. But there's always these birthday events, or there's always something, a vacation, a fucking holiday, this or that. How am I supposed to just stay completely on track if I, have to fucking show up to these festivities that, for the most part, I don't really care about, if I'm going to be honest. I care about my goals. I care about, actually pushing the needle to fucking save my family so that these family events could be much, much better. But I had to just, be alone right now so, I could do that. And it's tough because no one understands that. Like, when I tell them, I try to tell them, and I try to really, mentally prepare them that, that's the kind of way I am. Because, my family and, some of my friends, they're not like that, They like to be around their family and talk to them all the time and all this stuff, and I don't necessarily need any of that. Like, I appreciate that, in the moment, from time to time, of course. It's my family, I love them. And I want to see them, I want to catch up with them, but my wants right now, are much below my needs. And my needs are just, fucking winning. Actually changing my life for the better. So that I could, change other people's lives around me. And I know I'm the only one with this mentality to fucking, do it and make it happen. I'm at the perfect age to make it happen. Everything's set up for me to make it happen. And I just, I have to make the hard choices, I've been saying no more to, and, demanding respect from people at work and just other people like that in general. But with my family, I still, struggle a little bit because it's that, bittersweet kind of thing, How do I tell some of them, listen, I can't right now. And they can't understand it, They can't fucking understand it because they don't see the fruits of my labor yet. So if I just can't go to a fucking family event because I'm working on something, I'm working real fucking hard, and they just don't get it, and they just think I'm just I just don't want to be there just because. No, I'm trying to grow my mind and just, preserve my energy. I'm not trying to go to a family event where, a lot of the family, I don't want to have these, sort of pointless conversations with people. you know? So I think that's, a big reason of why I feel this like urge and need to move pretty far away, like to a different state where you need to hop on a plane to get there. I need to move away so that, I literally can't be at these occasions. And now in their mind, I'll have a valid reason. But right now, my reasonings are not valid. Like, oh, I'm working on, my business. I have to do shit. And I can't necessarily say that because I can't fucking tell them that. I have to keep that shit to myself until my fruits of my labor come about. Because then they'll just, either start telling everyone or talking shit or just thinking negative about it. And I don't need that. So, and it's that's the hard part. It's nothing against them. It's just I really love them, but because I love them, I have to make the fucking hard decisions, the tough decisions, and do the right things and do the hard things. And I just gotta hope that they understand one day. One day they'll understand why I did everything that I did. And I could backtrack and tell them, hey, I couldn't be here and I couldn't do this and that because I was just working so fucking hard to, actually help everyone. Like, and I know it's very hard to understand, and maybe they just don't really believe I'm capable of that because I've been trying since, I was 18 and I did nothing but fail. And they may see me as, somewhat of a failure because they think that that's the end, that I gave up. But it's only like the beginning for me. And they don't have to understand that, but they'll see that eventually. This is only the beginning of just everything. Everything I'm going to like transpire to just become, and just everything's going to unfold the way that it was always supposed to. But I just have to, you know, move away to a state pretty far away so that I could just be completely alone, no friends, no family. The only way I could, communicate with them is on the phone. And that's fine, have a conversation for, half hour every couple days, hour every, whatever, that's perfectly fine. That's fucking healthy. But I can't, I can't be obligated to be at any sort of family events or family vacations. Like right before I move, I'm going on a family vacation, and I'm appreciative of it. My mom works hard to, gift us a vacation for like our Christmas gift, like our whole family or whatever. But um, yeah, it's just like something that right now I don't need. And how do I just say like, hey, like I'm not coming, you know? Unless I have a reason, I have a valid excuse, a valid reason. Like, oh, I'm in a different state, like I can't come. I have work. I need to work, you know? Because there would be a thing like, oh, you could just take off or you could just do that, but oh, you need to relax, you need to be healthy, you need to, and they do it out of care. But sometimes you need to just be in a part of life where you're a little bit more quote unquote unhealthy and, you're not balanced at all. Like to me, being alone and, just being tunneled is my balance. I can't be in a relationship with anyone. I can't, like, I have to sacrifice everything for this, and I understand that. And no one else will, and because also, like, no one else is willing to do that. But I am. So, And this isn't like some sort of complaint or anything. It's just the reality of the situation, you know? If you're on semen retention, if you're on a journey to try to become successful in any sort of way, you may have to be alone for a certain period of time, like just super fucking alone, so then you could get shit done. Your time is very valuable and you can't waste that with just doing a whole lot of nothing sometimes, you know? I'm just like, I've been in such a go mode, and then like days like this where I celebrate and kick back and, you know, get off my diet and do all this shit, like it makes me feel like my old self, and I genuinely hate that version of myself. That old version of myself, like I'm trying to just completely obliterate it and destroy it. But times like that reminds me of who I was, and I don't even want to like remember too much who I was. I only want to, you know, connect with who I'm becoming, with who I already am in the future. Like, you know, that's really like, that's really my goal. I want to just get better every day. And like, I stay so focused and on track when I'm just in my own fucking world, where everyone just leaves me the fuck alone. And that's what I love. You know, I love just being in the process of just grinding it the fuck out, you know? And I've learned how to, you know, maneuver with it through work, like demanding respect and all that. But now I have to just figure out how to maneuver with it with my family. And I think, you know, the play that I'm going to do by, you know, moving out of the state is the perfect, you know, solution. Because, well, number one, I want to move out the state regardless because, you know, I want to move somewhere hotter and just like cheaper and all that stuff. And why the fuck not, you know? Fucking young. And number two, it's going to help me just completely stay focused. You know, when I'm in my own apartment and just there's no fucking snacks around or no body to talk to, I'll just be so on point with my diet, so on point with my mindset because, you know, I don't have social media anymore, so I'm just fucking, I'm locked in within my environment and within my mind. And if something like throws that off a little bit, it kind of fucking like, it pisses me off because it just slows down my trajectory and inevitability to win. That's it though. Like, in order to win, you need to be alone at a certain point. I don't think there's any other way. But maybe that's just how I am, you know? Maybe. I fucking love y'all though. Peace out.